Hey heroes, every night life hits you a little bit. Being worried leaves marks. Being scared breaks pieces off. Being sad wears you down. When you open your eyes the next day, your mind has some scratches on it. It isn't totally broken, but it is hurt. Most people act like nothing is wrong. They just keep going, wondering why they feel a little more tired and weak every single morning. Here is the secret. Your brain isn't a robot that can run forever without help. It is actually more like a house. And every day that house gets a little beat up, a big storm blows against it. The floor gets cracks, the walls get messy, and the roof gets holes. If you never fix those small problems, the whole house will eventually fall down. The wise thinkers from a long time ago, called Stoics, knew this better than anyone. These weren't just guys sitting in comfy chairs talking about ideas. These were men who faced really scary things. Marcus Aurelius was the king of a huge place called Rome, and he had to deal with wars and sickness. Epictetus was a slave whose master actually broke his leg. Seneca saw everything he worked for get taken away. They knew what it felt like to be hurt, and they knew something else very important. You either fix your mind every single morning or you let it fall apart. This isn't about being perfect. This isn't about never getting your feelings hurt. Life will hurt you, that is for sure. The real question is, will you patch up the holes, or will you let the mess get so big that you can't even move anymore? Today, I am showing you 12 easy ways to fix things. These aren't hard lessons or fancy tricks that take a long time. They are simple fixes that anyone can do. Each one helps fix a different kind of hurt. Together, they will make your mind strong enough to handle whatever happens today. Seneca said something that changed everything. Start living right now and treat every single day like it is its own whole life. Every morning is a brand new beginning, but only if you actually treat it that way. It only works if you fix what happened yesterday instead of carrying that heavy baggage into today. Before we jump in, click the like button, send this to a friend who needs to patch up their mind, and join our group. We aren't here just for fun. We are here to help you get strong again. Don't miss any part of this. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his diary every single morning, not to be famous, but to fix himself. He wanted to repair his mind before he walked out the door into a world that would try to hurt him again. He knew that being strong in your head isn't something you just have. It is something you build every time you wake up. Your mind has some scratches right now. That's okay. That is just how life is. The only choice you have is, are you going to fix it or just look the other way? Type this in the notes if you are ready. I fix my mind every morning. Number 1, take out yesterday's garbage. When you open your eyes in the morning, the very first thing your brain does is hand you a bag of yesterday's trash. It reminds you of the fight you had, the mistake you made, the chance you missed, or that silly thing you said that made you blush. Your mind dumps all of it right in front of you as if it just happened 5 minutes ago. Most people pick that bag up, they hold on to it, they spend their whole morning thinking about it, worrying about it, and being mean to themselves because of it. Then they feel confused about why they feel so tired and heavy before they even put their feet on the floor. A wise man named Seneca saw people doing this their whole lives. They would carry garbage from yesterday into today, from last week into this week, and even from years ago into right now. He said something very smart. Real happiness is liking right now without being worried about what comes next. But you can't like right now if you are pulling the past behind you like a heavy wagon. Here is the truth about yesterday. It is finished. It is totally over. You cannot go back and fix what happened. You can't take back your words. You can't undo what was done. The only thing you can actually pick is whether you are going to keep lugging it around or put it down. Think about real trash in your kitchen. You wouldn't reach into the garbage can, pull out yesterday's smelly scraps, and carry them in your pocket all day. That would be crazy. But that is exactly what you do with brain trash. You pull it out of the past and bring it into today, then tomorrow, and then next week. Your mind starts to feel like a big stinky dump full of old junk that should have been thrown away a long time ago. The Stoic thinkers had a habit they did every morning. They would choose to let go of yesterday. They didn't act like it never happened, but they looked at it and decided not to bring it with them. They knew that yesterday has zero power over today, unless you give it that power. Here is your first way to fix your mind. Spend just 30 seconds on it. Right when you wake up, before you look at your phone or start planning your day, ask yourself, What am I holding from yesterday that I don't need today? Maybe it's a talk that ended badly. Maybe it's a mess up at school. Maybe it's something mean someone said. Whatever it is, give it a name, then say it out loud or in your head. That is over. I am not carrying it anymore. It might sound too easy, but here is what happens when you decide to let go. You are telling your brain, this doesn't get a room in my head anymore. I'm not looking at it. I'm not giving it any of my power. It's just trash, and trash belongs in the bin. You can't fill your day with new, happy things if your head is already stuffed with old, yucky things. Empty the bin first thing every single morning. If you feel this is true, write this down. Yesterday is trash. Today is fresh. Number 2, test your floor first. When you get out of bed, you immediately start stacking things on top of yourself. You pile on schoolwork, chores, promises to friends, big goals, and all the things people expect from you. You keep making the stack taller and taller without ever stopping to ask one easy thing. Can I actually hold all this up today? By lunchtime, you feel like you are drowning. By the time the sun goes down, you are wiped out. You might think there is something wrong with your brain, but you are actually fine. You just tried to lift more weight than your floor could handle. A teacher named Epictetus taught something that sounds simple, but most people forget it. First, decide who you want to be and then do what needs to be done. In other words, figure out how much power you really have before you promise to do every single thing. Check your bottom floor before you start building rooms on top of it. Think about building a skyscraper. Before the builders put up the walls, they check the ground and the foundation. They test the dirt to make sure it is strong enough to hold up the heavy building. If they don't do this, the whole tower will fall down. Your mind works the exact same way. On some days, your floor is super strong, you got plenty of sleep, you feel happy, and your head feels clear. On those days, you can carry a lot. On other days, your floor is shaky. You are sleepy, you are worried, or you are still feeling bad about yesterday. You can't carry as much on those days, and that isn't being weak. That is just the truth. But most people ignore how they feel. They promise to do 10 big things when they really only have the energy for 3. They say yes to everyone when they should be saying no to most of them. They put too much weight on a shaky floor and then feel like a loser when it starts to crack. Marcus Aurelius was in charge of a whole kingdom, but even he had to check his floor every single morning. He would write in his diary about what he could truly finish that day. He didn't write about what he wished he could do. He wrote about what he actually could do. On the days when he felt tired or worn out, he changed his plans. He carried less. He focused on the most important things and let the other stuff wait until tomorrow. Here is your second way to fix your mind. Every morning, before you look at your homework list or check your messages, ask yourself honestly, how much can I really handle today? Don't think about what makes you look busy. Don't think about trying to make other people think you are cool. Don't think about what you ought to be able to do. Just think about what you can carry without falling over. Maybe it is just one big chore. Maybe it is 3 tiny ones. Maybe today is just a taking it easy day where you just try to stay okay. That is perfectly fine. It is much better to do a few things well than to do a million things badly and be mad at yourself by bedtime. The Stoics weren't superheroes. They just knew when they reached their limit and they listened to it. They only built what their floor could hold up. When the ground was soft, they didn't pretend it was hard rock. They changed their plan. Check your floor first, then decide what to put on it. Don't do it the other way around. Number 3, mend tiny troubles before they turn huge. There is a teeny tiny worry hiding in the back of your brain. It isn't a big deal, just a small thing. Maybe it's a talk you need to have, a chore you need to finish, or a choice you need to make. Since it's little, you look the other way. You tell yourself you'll take care of it later. You'll fix it when you aren't busy. You'll get around to it soon. Then the days go by. That tiny worry starts to get bigger. It gets noisier. It starts hogging more room in your head. Now it isn't just a small thing anymore. It's like a loud humming sound that won't go away. You keep ignoring it until one day it isn't tiny at all. It's a giant monster. It's too much to handle. Now you are sinking in a problem that would have taken only 5 minutes to finish if you had just done it when it first showed up. Marcus Aurelius knew this very well. He said, "Stay in the right now." He didn't mean that yesterday or tomorrow don't count, but that right now is where you have all your strength. Right now is when troubles are still tiny enough to mend. Think about a little line on a wall. When it first starts, It's just a tiny crack. You can fix it with a bit of glue in 2 seconds. But if you walk away, rain gets inside. The crack travels. It gets deeper and wider. Pretty soon, the whole wall falls down. Fixing a pile of broken bricks is 1,000 times harder than filling in one little line. Your brain works the exact same way. A tiny worry is a crack. A tiny fear is a crack. A little doubt is a crack. If you grab it early, it's a simple fix. But if you ignore it, it spreads, it gets bigger, it breaks the whole building. Here is what most people do. They wait until things are huge disasters before they try to help. They run away from a slightly awkward talk until it turns into a giant fight. They ignore a small money problem until it's a total emergency. They don't listen to a small tummy ache until they have to go to the hospital. Then they wonder why their life feels like a giant forest fire. The Stoic thinkers didn't wait around. When they saw something was wrong, they mended it right that second. They weren't just being brave, they were being smart. They knew that little troubles fixed early stay little. Little troubles that are ignored turn into huge messes. Here is your third way to repair your mind. Every morning, find one tiny problem. One thing that is just starting to bug you. One thing you have been hiding from. One thing that is making a crack in your head. Then, fix it today. Not this weekend. Today. Make that call you've been scared of. Send that message you've been putting off. Do that chore that's been sitting there. Have that talk that's making you nervous, whatever it is. Handle it while it's still a tiny baby problem. Don't wait for things to get giant. Giant problems need giant answers. Tiny problems only need tiny actions, and you have plenty of time for tiny actions right now. Number 4. Throw out the things that hurt you. There is something in your world that is slowly making you sick, like a drop of bad juice. You know exactly what it is. Maybe it is a person who makes you feel totally drained every time you chat. Maybe it is a naughty habit that is making your body feel weak. Maybe it is a chore that makes your heart feel sad. Or maybe it is a story you tell yourself that isn't even true. You know what it is, but you are keeping it around anyway. Why? Because getting rid of it feels weird and a little bit scary. It is familiar, like an old shoe, even if that shoe has a sharp rock inside. So you hold on to the thing that hurts and wonder why you feel more tired every day. A very wealthy man named Seneca lived in Rome a long time ago. He was rich and powerful, but he understood something very important. If you can't let go of something, then that thing actually owns you. To make sure he was the boss of his own life, he would sometimes give his fancy stuff away and live very simply. He didn't hate his things, but he refused to let them control him. He threw out the poison before it could make him sick. Think about real poison. If you accidentally swallowed something yucky, you wouldn't just leave it in your tummy and hope for the best. You would get it out right away. You would do anything to get it out because you know it will hurt you if it stays. But when it comes to brain poison, people do the opposite. They know a friendship makes them feel tiny and sad, but they keep it anyway. That's poison. That habit of looking at other people on the internet and feeling like you aren't as good as them? Poison. That relationship where you are always worried about saying the wrong thing? Poison. Thinking you aren't good enough? Poison. You know it hurts, yet you are still gripping it tight. The Stoic thinkers knew that sometimes the only way to get better is to just walk away. You can't fix a bottle of poison. You can't talk a bad thing into being a good thing. If something is built to be harmful, it will stay harmful. You just have to remove it. A teacher named Epictetus said it very clearly. Do your best with the things you can control, and don't worry about the rest. One thing you can control is who gets to be your friend and what ideas get to live in your head. When something is poisoning your happiness, taking it away is totally up to you. Here is your 4th way to fix your mind. Find one thing in your life that is slowly making you feel bad. Be totally honest with yourself. You already know what it is. Now, make a plan to get it out of your life. Not next year, but this week. Maybe you can't make it go away in 1 second. Maybe you have to plan how to do it. That's fine. But start the work today. Make the new rule. Have the tough talk. Change the habit. You can't get better while you are still drinking the yucky stuff. And you can't build a tough mind while bad things are making it rotten from the inside. Get rid of what is hurting you. Even if it is difficult or spooky, your happy brain is much more important than staying comfortable. Type this in the comments. I remove what's poisoning me. Number 5. Pick the rules you will never break. You tend to give in on everything. And that is why your life feels like it is made of wobbly jelly. If someone asks you to do something that you know is wrong, you do it anyway just because you don't want to feel awkward saying no. You make a rule for yourself, but then you let people ignore it because you don't want to start a fight. You make a promise to yourself, but you quit the second things get a little bit hard. You bend for everything. And when every part of you bends, eventually every part of you snaps. A man named Cato the Younger knew something most people never figure out. Some rules must be unbreakable, or nothing else matters. He had ideas he would never change, not because he was stubborn, but because he knew if he gave up on the big things, he would eventually give up on everything. When a leader named Julius Caesar said he would let Cato live if Cato just followed his rules, Cato said no. He would rather die than give up what he believed in. That sounds like a lot, but he was protecting his integrity, the part of him that makes him who he is. He felt that living without his beliefs wasn't really living at all. You probably won't have to make a choice that big, but you face smaller versions of it every single day. Every time you give up on something you said was important, you are teaching your brain that nothing is actually important. You are telling yourself that your promises don't mean anything. You are acting like your rules are just ideas people can ignore. Think about a house. It has load-bearing walls. These are the special walls that hold up the heavy roof. You can change the carpet, you can paint the rooms a new color, or you can move the chairs around. But if those special walls crack, the whole house falls down. Your most important rules are like those walls. They hold up your respect for yourself, your friendships, and your happiness. If you keep letting them crack, everything else will come crashing down. Here is your fifth way to fix your mind. Every morning, pick 3 things that you absolutely will not give up on today. These aren't just hopes or goals, they are unbreakables. Maybe your rule is, I will tell the truth even if it's embarrassing. Maybe it is, I will do my exercise no matter how tired I feel. Or maybe it is, I will not let people be mean to me even if it makes things uncomfortable. Whatever your 3 rules are, write them on a piece of paper. Say them out loud. Make them a real part of your day. Then, when the day gets hard, and it will get hard, you won't have to guess what to do. You already made the choice. There is no maybe just this one time. The wall does not move. Marcus Aurelius had one simple rule that he used for everything. Stop wasting time arguing about what a good person should be. Just be one. He didn't just talk about being good. He lived that way and never broke his own rules. Decide which parts of you are unbreakable. Then don't break them. Not today and not ever. Number 6, open the valve to let the steam out. You are keeping every single thing trapped inside. You are stuffing down your worries, your mad feelings, your scares, and the things you are too afraid to say out loud. You are hiding the feelings you are too shy to show anyone. You think that bottling it all up makes you tough and in charge, but it doesn't. It's like a pot of boiling water with the lid glued on tight. Eventually, that pot is going to pop. Marcus Aurelius was the boss of the biggest kingdom on earth. He had to look brave and calm every single minute, but he knew a very important secret. If you don't let the heat out, it will break you from the inside. So, every single morning, he wrote in his notebook. He wrote down the scary things, the hard truths, and the stuff he was struggling with. He gave all that pressure a door to walk out of before it made him snap. Think about a jar that is shut tight. If you put heat and air inside but don't give it a hole to escape, the glass will eventually shatter. The jar doesn't get tougher by holding in more air. It just gets closer to breaking. Your brain is exactly the same way. That fight you need to have but keep running away from. That's more air in the jar. That sad feeling you hide because you think crying is for babies? That's more air. That secret you keep because you're worried about what people will think? The jar is getting fuller. Every day you keep it shut, the pressure gets higher. Then one day something tiny goes wrong, like someone dropping a spoon, and you scream and explode. You aren't actually mad about the spoon. You're exploding because you've been holding in all the big stuff for too long. Most people think that if they just act like everything is fine, the stress will just vanish. It won't. Stress doesn't just go away. You either let it out slowly on purpose or it blows up in a messy way later. Those are the only 2 choices you have. A teacher named Epictetus told his students something that's hard to hear. If you want to get better, be okay with people thinking you look silly or not so smart. In real life, that means saying the hard thing. Tell the truth, even if you're worried it makes you look not so tough. Let the steam out even if it's a bit messy. Trying to look strong by hiding your feelings actually makes you easier to break. Here is your 6th way to fix your mind. Every morning, let out one little bit of pressure. Tell one truth that feels a bit awkward, either to yourself in a mirror or to another person. Maybe it's saying, I have too much to do and I need someone to help me. Maybe it's telling a friend, what you said yesterday made me feel sad. Maybe it's just admitting to yourself, I'm actually scared and I don't know how to do this. It doesn't have to be a giant deal. It just has to be the real truth. You aren't trying to find a magic answer or fix every problem in the world right this second. You are just opening the lid a tiny bit so you don't blow up later. Truly strong people don't keep everything locked in a dark room. Strong people are smart enough to let the heat out before it ruins them. There is a huge difference between being the boss of your feelings and just hiding them. One keeps you steady, while the other keeps you right on the edge of falling apart. Let the pressure out, not because you aren't tough, but because you are smart enough to know what happens to a jar that never gets opened. Number 7, always have a plan B. You are acting like everything will always be perfect. Because of that, whenever something actually goes wrong, you completely crumble. You have only one idea, one way to go and one hope. You have put all your feelings into things working out exactly like you want. Then, the real world shows up. Your plan flops, the path is blocked, your hope breaks, and you are left with nothing. You have no second choice, no other way to go, and no clue what to do next. So, you get really scared and start to panic. The Stoic thinkers did something every morning that most people think is a downer, but it is actually the most clever thing you can do. They would imagine things going wrong. They didn't do this to make themselves sad. They did it to get ready. They called this thinking about the bad stuff ahead of time. It gave them something most people never have, a backup plan before they actually needed one. Seneca would get up and think, what if I lose all my money today? What would my next move be? How would I act? What if my buddies turn on me? What if I get sick? What if my goals fall apart? He wasn't being a negative Nelly. He was being like a coach drawing up a play. When those bad things really happened, and they did happen, he didn't fall apart. He already knew his next step. Think about a house that has no back door and no way to get out in an emergency. Everything is okay until there is a fire. Then people get stuck because there is no exit. Your life is just like that. Everything feels fine until a problem starts. If you have no backup plan, no emergency exit, and no other path to take, you are trapped. Here is what people who aren't ready do when things go bad. They freeze up. They get terrified. They make really bad choices because they are trying to fix a giant mess without a map. But people who are ready stay cool. It's not because they are better people. It's because they already thought about what to do if this happened. They already know what to do next. Marcus Aurelius had to deal with wars, sickness, and people lying to him all the time. But he wrote something very strong. You have power over your own thoughts, not over what happens in the world. Understand this, and you will be strong. Part of that power is getting your brain ready for what might happen before it actually does. Here is your 7th way to fix your mind. Every morning, think of just one thing that could go wrong today. Just one. Then, spend 30 seconds deciding what you would do if it actually happened. What if a project goes badly? Know how you will answer. What if someone says no to you? Have your next move ready. What if you make a mistake? Know how you will fix it. You aren't wishing for bad luck. You are just taking away the panic. Because when things go wrong, and they will, you won't have to figure out a plan while you are drowning. You will already know what to do. Having a plan B isn't being sad. It's being smart. It is the difference between people who make it through a tough time and people who get flattened by it. Number 8, clean out the mess. Before you start, your phone is sitting right next to your bed. The alarm rings, and before you even rub your eyes, before you take a deep breath, and before you think a single thought of your own, you grab it. In that 1 second, you have lost the day. Very quickly, your brain gets filled with a giant wave of stuff. You see emails, texts, the news, what other people think, and everyone else's problems. Your head, which was totally quiet and clean just half a minute ago, is now stuffed with junk that has nothing to do with what you need to finish today. The wise Stoics were very serious about protecting their mornings. It wasn't because they didn't like people. It was because they knew a secret. The very first things that go into your head decide how the rest of your day will feel. If you let garbage in first, your whole day will feel like garbage. A teacher named Epictetus taught in a room that had almost nothing in it. No fancy things, no toys, and no mess, just what was needed to learn. Why? Because he knew that a messy room makes a messy brain, and a messy brain can't think straight. Think about trying to do your homework in a room that is overflowing with trash. There are papers everywhere, junk in piles, and stuff covering every table. You can't concentrate, you can't think, you can't be creative. It isn't because you aren't smart, it is because the room around you is a disaster. Your mind works exactly like that room. When you look at your phone the moment you wake up, you are dumping a trash can into a clean, empty space. You are making your mind messy before you even get a chance to use it. That one email makes you worried. That news story makes you mad. That picture online makes you feel like you aren't as good as others. Now you are starting your morning feeling stressed and grumpy. This didn't happen because your day was bad. It happened because you chose to let everyone else's loud mess into your head. Here is what most people don't understand. You don't have to let the whole world into your head. You have a choice. You can keep your morning brain safe and quiet so you can use it for things that are important to you, or you can give it away to whoever is making the most noise on your phone. Here is your 8th way to fix your mind. For the first 30 minutes after you wake up, do not let anything from the outside into your brain. No phones, no news, no videos, and no messages. It's just you. This might feel a little weird at first. Your brain might tell you that you're missing something big, but you aren't. What you're actually doing is giving yourself half an hour where your thoughts belong only to you. This is a time when your head is clear, and you can actually think for yourself instead of just jumping because someone sent a text. You can use those 30 minutes however you like. You can sit quietly. You can think or plan what you want to do today. You can read a good book or stretch your body. It doesn't matter what you choose as long as it is your choice and not someone else's. The world will get to talk to you eventually, but not first thing. Not when your mind is at its strongest and clearest. That special time belongs to you and nobody else. Type this promise in the comments. I protect my morning from noise. Number 9. Put great things in your brain. You wouldn't eat a bowl of trash for breakfast and expect to win a race. So why do you give your brain trash and expect it to be happy? The very first thing you think about in the morning decides how your mind will work for the whole day. If you feed it mean stories, you will think mean things. If you feed it stuff that makes you mad, you will stay grumpy. If you feed it pictures that make you feel like you aren't as good as others, you will feel small. If you feed it scary things, you will feel worried. Your brain actually turns into whatever you put inside it. Their leader named Marcus Aurelius was super careful about what he let into his head. He said that your soul gets stained by the color of your thoughts. He wasn't just being fancy, he meant it. Whatever you look at first changes the color of everything else you think about later. Think about a water filter. If you pour in clean water comes out the bottom. But if you pour in yucky, muddy water, you get yucky, muddy water out. Your mind is the same way. What you put in decides what you get out. Input always changes output. Here is what most people do. They start their morning with junk. They scroll through their phones, looking at everyone else's best moments, reading news meant to make them scared, and watching videos that are fun but empty. Then they wonder why they feel messy, nervous, and lazy. It's not a secret. If you put garbage in, you get garbage out. The Stoic thinkers didn't waste their brain power on useless stuff. Seneca would read wise books every morning. Marcus Aurelius would think about how to be a good person before he had to run the whole city of Rome. Epictetus focused on things that made him strong, not weak. Image showing the comparison between a healthy brain fed with knowledge and an unhealthy brain fed with distractions. They were very smart about what they let in because they knew it mattered. Here is your 9th way to fix your mind. The very first thing you read, listen to, or watch every single morning must be something that makes you a better person. Not just something funny, but something that helps you grow. Maybe it's reading a book about being kind. Maybe it's listening to a podcast where you learn something new. Maybe it's watching a video that makes you feel brave. The exact thing doesn't matter as much as why you are doing it. You are giving your mind healthy food instead of junk food. This doesn't mean you can only look at serious stuff. It just means that the very first meal for your brain should be good for you. You can have a little bit of junk food later if you want, but don't start your day with it. Your brain will probably want the junk at first. That is normal because you have used it that way for a long time. But the more you give it good stuff, the more it will start to want the good stuff instead. You take care of your body by being careful about what you eat. You must take care of your mind by being just as careful about what you look at and listen to. Good stuff in means good thoughts out. Trash in means trash thoughts out. It really is that simple. Write this promise in the comments. I feed my mind quality, not junk. Number 10. Try hard things on purpose. You stay away from things that feel tough. You get rid of problems before they start. You always pick the easiest way to do things. Then, you wonder why you feel like you aren't very strong. Here is the real deal. You don't actually know what you can do because you never give yourself a real test. You stay in your safe bubble, telling yourself you are tough, but you have no proof. You have no evidence. Since you never practice doing hard things, the second life forces a real problem on you, you fall down. A famous teacher named Musonius Rufus had an idea that sounds a little silly today. He thought you should make your life a little harder on purpose, not because being sad is good, but because practicing uncomfortable things gets you ready for when life gets hard later. He would go without eating even when he had food. He would sleep on the floor even when he had a soft bed. He would stay out in the cold even when he had a warm coat. Why? He was training. Think about soccer players or runners. They don't wait until the big championship game to see if they are fast enough. They practice. They push themselves. They test their limits during training, so they know they can handle the pressure when the game starts. Your brain is just like that. If you never test your mind, you have no clue if it is truly strong or just hasn't been put to work yet. When people are untested, everything looks okay until something difficult happens. Then they snap. It isn't because they are bad people, it's because they never built up their mental muscles. They never practiced being strong when things were tough. So when real trouble arrives, they have no strength saved up to use. The wise thinkers from long ago knew something that people today have forgotten. Always being comfy makes you weak. It doesn't just make you a little weak, it makes you dangerously weak. Every day you pick the easy way out, you are teaching yourself to be someone who can't handle a rocky road. And the world doesn't care what you like. Life will give you hard times whether you are ready for them or not. Here is your 10th way to fix your mind. Every morning, do one thing that feels a little bit hard on purpose. You aren't doing it because it's fun, you are doing it to test yourself. Turn the shower to cold even though the warm water feels better. Do a tough workout even if you want to sit on the couch. Have a talk that feels a little scary instead of running away. Sit quietly with your thoughts instead of playing a game on your phone. Pick the harder choice even when the easy one is right there in front of you. It doesn't have to be a giant challenge. It just has to be a little bit tougher than what you usually do. You aren't being mean to yourself. You are training yourself. You are showing your brain that uncomfortable does not mean dangerous. You are proving that you can handle tough stuff. That way, when life gives you a real test, you will be totally ready. A teacher named Epictetus said, "Hard times show what people are made of." But here is the secret. If you never try hard things on purpose, you won't know how strong you are until it's too late to fix it. Test yourself before life does it for you. Build up your strength during practice so you have it when it really counts. Number 11. Look for scratches. Every single day you look away from tiny troubles until they turn into giant messes. Then you act shocked when everything breaks. A teeny tiny crack shows up in your happy brain. Maybe a little bit of stress, a small worry, or a second of feeling unsure. Since it's small, you pretend it isn't there. You tell yourself you will handle it later. But days go by, and that crack travels. The stress piles up, the worry grows, and the unsure feeling stays all the time. You are still ignoring it until suddenly it isn't a crack anymore. Everything has crashed down around you. Marcus Aurelius was the boss of a whole kingdom, but every single day he stopped to see how he was doing. He would write in his notebook and look closely at his thoughts. He checked to see if his mind was okay. He didn't do this because he was scared or weak. He did it because he knew that a tiny bit of damage is easy to fix if you catch it fast. Tiny damage that is left alone turns into a disaster. Think about a car. You wouldn't drive it for years and never check the oil, the wheels, or the engine. You do checkups because you know that ignoring a small squeak can lead to a super expensive repair later. Your brain needs those same checkups. but most people never look. They just keep driving their brain car until the engine explodes. Instead of doing checkups, they wait for a total emergency. They ignore every red flag and every tiny symptom. Then, when they are totally broken down, they finally listen. Fixing a giant breakdown is 1,000 times harder than just taking care of things as you go. The Stoic thinkers practiced looking at themselves every day. They didn't do it to be mean to themselves. They did it to find problems early. Seneca would look back at his day every night and ask, "What did I do right? Where did I mess up? What should I change?" He was just doing a checkup. Here is your 11th way to fix your mind. At the end of your morning, before you get busy with your day, do a quick brain scan. Ask yourself 3 easy things. 1. What did I fix this morning? Look at the work you already did to feel better. 2. Where is a new crack starting? Look for tiny red flags like a little bit of growing worry or a small doubt. Catch it now while it's tiny. 3. What needs a checkup today? Find one spot that feels a bit weak or one problem that is just starting to grow. This only takes 2 minutes or maybe even less, but those 2 minutes can stop a giant crash that might take months to fix. When you find a scratch early, fixing it is a piece of cake. When you wait until everything is ruined, fixing it feels impossible. Most people only care about their mental health when it's an emergency. That is like only caring about your car when it stops working in the middle of a busy highway. By then, you are stuck and stranded. Do the checkups. Look for damage. Find the problems early. You aren't being weird. You are being very smart. Number 12. Fix one relationship crack before it spreads. There is a crack in one of your relationships. It isn't a huge explosion yet. It's small, a weird tone, a short reply, a joke that stung, a feeling that you are carrying the friendship more than the other person. You noticed it, and then you ignored it. You told yourself, it's fine, it will pass. But cracks don't heal by magic. They spread when you pretend they aren't there. Most people let relationship damage build quietly. They avoid one honest sentence because it feels awkward. Then weeks go by. The distance grows, and suddenly they don't even recognize the connection anymore. Seneca warned that life gets heavier when you delay what needs to be faced. Not because the problem is huge, but because your mind keeps paying interest on it every day you avoid it. Think about your house again. A small leak in one room doesn't stay in one room. Water travels. It rots the floor. It changes the whole building. A small relationship crack does the same thing. If you don't fix it early, your mind keeps replaying it. You start guessing what they meant. You start collecting tiny resentments like stones in your pocket. And then your mornings feel heavy for no reason, even though the reason is right there. Here is your 13th repair. Every morning, pick one relationship crack and do the smallest honest repair you can do today. Not a dramatic speech, not a giant confrontation, just one clean sentence that stops the leak. Hey, yesterday felt off between us. Are we good? When you said that, it hurt more than you think. I miss talking like we used to. Can we reset? I'm feeling drained lately. I need us to be more fair. This is not being sensitive. This is being wise. Epictetus taught that you don't control other people, but you do control your actions, your words, and your integrity. And integrity includes not letting silent resentment rot your life from the inside. If the person cares, the crack gets repaired. If they don't care, the crack shows you the truth. Either way, you win clarity. Type this to lock it in. I repair what I avoid. Number 13. Stop leaking attention all day. Your mind isn't only damaged by big problems, it's damaged by tiny leaks. Every time you switch apps, check a notification, scroll for just a second, or let your brain jump to something new, you lose a little bit of focus. One leak doesn't feel like a big deal, but 100 leaks turns your day into a drained battery. Most people think their problem is motivation. It isn't. It's attention loss. Your mind can't build anything strong if it keeps getting pulled apart into pieces. Marcus Aurelius didn't just fight wars. He fought distractions. He wrote to himself to stay anchored because he knew that a scattered mind becomes an exhausted mind. Think about a bucket with a tiny hole at the bottom. You keep pouring water in, sleep, coffee, plans, effort, but it never stays full. That's your attention when it leaks all day. You try to push harder, but the real fix is plugging the holes. Here is your 14th repair. Every morning, choose one attention rule you will follow for the next 24 hours. One rule. Simple, non-negotiable. For example, No phone for the first hour after waking up. Notifications off until noon. Social media only once, at a set time. One task mode. Finish one thing before starting another. No scrolling while eating. This is Stoic strength in modern form. You can't control the noise in the world, but you can control what gets access to your mind. Seneca said we waste most of life not because we don't have time, but because we give it away. Attention is your real wealth. If you protect it, your mind becomes calm again. If you leak it, your mind becomes weak again. Write this promise. I guard my attention like my life depends on it. Number 14. Create something that sticks around. Most of what you do right now is just for a moment. That message you are worried about won't be a big deal next week. That meeting you are nervous about will be totally forgotten in a month. The problem that feels like a giant mountain today won't even matter a year from now. You are using up your whole life on things that don't stay. That is why you feel like something is missing. A famous leader named Marcus Aurelius understood this very well. He was the most powerful king on earth, but he knew his power wouldn't last forever. His kingdom would crumble, people would forget his choices, and one day his name wouldn't mean anything. So he focused on one thing that could actually last: his ideas. He wrote them down every single morning. He didn't do it to be famous or to sell books. He did it so his thoughts would stay forever. Now 2,000 years later, his words are still helping people like you. That is what it means to build something that lasts. Think about your usual morning. You wake up and react to what other people want. You answer messages, you fix other people's mess-ups, and you handle emergencies. By the time the sun goes down, what do you actually have? You have nothing that stays. You have nothing that grows. You spent all your energy, but you didn't build anything real. The Stoics knew that doing temporary work feels empty because there is nothing inside it. You can work very hard on things that vanish and end up with nothing to show for it. But permanent work, work that builds something that stays, gives your life meaning. Seneca wrote letters that people still read today. Epictetus taught lessons that are still used hundreds of years later. Marcus wrote thoughts that still make people's minds stronger thousands of years later. They made things that lasted longer than their bodies or their kingdoms. That is what truly counts. You don't have to be a famous writer or a genius, but you should make something that lasts longer than just today. You need to do something that matters more than just finishing a to-do list. Here is your 12th way to fix your mind. Every morning, do one thing that creates something permanent. Don't just watch or react, build. Maybe you write something, even just a small paragraph in a diary that helps you think. Maybe you teach a friend something helpful that they will remember forever. Maybe you practice a skill, like playing an instrument or drawing, that gets better every day. Maybe you make something with your hands. Maybe you help someone in a way that changes their life for the better. It doesn't have to be a giant project. It just has to stay. If you did this every morning for a year, you would have something real to show for it. Epictetus said, "Don't just talk about how to live. Live that way." Your life is your story. If you spend all your time on things that disappear, your story is that nothing matters. But if you build something every day, your story says, "I was here, I mattered. I made something that stays." Tomorrow morning, before you get busy with emails and chores, ask yourself, what am I making today that will still be around next year? Do that thing first. Type this promise. I build something lasting every day. Fixing your mind every day. Your mind gets a little bit scratched every day. That isn't a mistake, it's just how life is. Living is tough. Stress makes cracks. Worrying wears you down. Failing leaves a mark. That is what happens when you are a human who is trying. The difference between people who do great and people who just get by isn't that they don't get hurt. It's that they repair the damage every single morning before the pile gets too big. They fix the small stuff before they fall down under the weight of it all. The Stoics weren't superheroes. They had to deal with wars, being kept as slaves, being kicked out of their homes, and being lied to. But they knew you either fix your mind every morning or you let it crumble. You don't have to do all 12 tomorrow. Start with 3, the 3 you need most right now. Get good at those, then add more later. Your mind is worth fixing. You are worth the work. Every morning is a brand new chance to fix what is broken before it breaks you. If this helped you, click the like button and tell me which repair you need most in the comments. We are here to help you get strong. Marcus Aurelius wrote every morning because he knew he couldn't control the world, but he could control his own mind. Use that power. Fix your mind. Make yourself stronger. Tomorrow morning, start the repairs. Your mind is ready. Type this to finish. I fix my mind every single morning.